Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Cookie. I'm so thrilled to finally be here in your beautiful restaurant. Could you tell us a little bit about this restaurant, where we are, the vision behind Cookie's Cream?
Okay, well, it started a long time ago. So when I was 8, my mum became vegetarian, and so I became a vegetarian. And since my 8th birthday, I've been more or less vegetarian. No,
Wow.
I've been not more or less. I have been a vegetarian all my life. And I started more in the club fields.
Yes.
Like I opened up my first illegal bar 30 years ago in Berlin.
Love it.
And I carried on moving, and I kept on moving and opening different bars and clubs after time. And basically, when I found this venue in 2006, I had the plan to open up a club in the ground floor.
Yeah.
And for me, it was clear I'm going to open up a restaurant. And it was also for me really clear, because I've been so long vegetarian, that I would like to open up a vegetarian restaurant.
Right.
But the main focus was to have the atmosphere.
Yes.
It was like, for me, very important to have a great atmosphere,
Yes.
Amazing taste, and that you actually don't really realize that it's vegetarian, or you don't miss anything.
Right.
And that was the start of it. And it took us quite a few years to get really good on cooking the food.
Okay.
Because there were no other people or no other restaurants really to show us how to cook amazing vegetarian food.
Yes.
Because back then, when you look at it, it was more like there were a lot of vegetarian places open for lunch, but there was nothing for the evening.
Right.
This place, it was an evening place.
Right.
And fine dining.
Right.
And to find out how to cook vegetables so that no one misses something.
Right.
Took, I'd say, about 5 years.
Okay. And I mean, let's talk a little bit more about that. Was that just a process of trial and error, experimentation in the kitchen? You know, how did that go?
Well, it's first of all, it's the ingredients.
Yeah.
You need really good ingredients, amazing ingredients, but then it's also the craft work.
Yes.
Like really knowing how long to cook something, how to work with the products for a longer period of time,
right,
to make them taste even better.
Right, because you still want that sort of caramelization or the
that
smoky, all of those kind of depth of flavor.
And I think this is like the steps what it took. And now we have a kitchen, of course, that really knows how to treat vegetables in an amazing way.
Yes.
So that we have this caramelization, this the word, what is it called?
Just creating more smoke, all the different kind of savory, depth of flavor and things like that. I mean, that's a perfect transition. We were aiming today to talk a little bit more about how you source your ingredients and how you build those relationships with farmers. And you led us there perfectly by saying, with a vegetarian restaurant like this, it's so essential that you start from quality ingredients, right? You can't hide anything.
Exactly.
And
so
tell us about that.
I think, we started 17 years ago with the restaurant. So it's been on the market for 17 years now.
Wow.
And we started working with Farmer Peter 15 years ago.
Okay.
So we've been in a very long contact together. And there are some challenges working with a farmer directly.
Yes.
Yes, because you cannot order what you want, and when you want it, you get it tomorrow. It's like a pre-selection, so you really have to really focus in January, February. What is the season going to be?
Yes.
And then you never know when it arrives, because depending on the sun and the weather, it comes earlier and later.
Exactly. It turns out nature doesn't work on a spreadsheet.
So yes. And I think, but working over such a long time together has connected us also, and that's why he knows what we need, and we know what he needs. Yeah. And this is why the works amazing.
So where is Farmer Peter's farm? Tell me a little bit more about it.
It's about a 15-minute drive out of Berlin.
Okay.
It's near Krelo.
Okay.
So it's a bit northwest of Potsdam.
Okay.
Yep. And it's not a huge farm. It's a very small farm. It's a one-man production.
Wow.
Peter.
Yes.
And he loves, his main skill is tomatoes. He loves making the best tomatoes you can imagine.
Amazing.
And that's for the month August.
Yes.
But then also he does a lot of herbs. He does all kinds of beets, roots that you typically cannot actually buy in the supermarket.
Okay.
That was his idea 15 years ago.
Okay.
Of course, it's a bit adjusted, so he really delivers the vegetables that we can use.
Work with.
Amazing.
And I mean, tell me how, so you kind of alluded to it a little bit there, that you really have to plan in advance. You have to think about the seasons. What does that look like? Do you meet with Peter in January and start,
exactly,
you know, how does that, tell me a little bit more.
So the head chef has a plan. We meet with Peter. Peter says what he has new apps coming up.
Okay.
He will experiment things and give us experimentations.
Amazing.
Afterwards. And then we sit together and then we make a plan, basically how much quantity and quality. Well, the qualities, of course, comes as it has also a little bit to do with rain and sun.
Yes.
And then it starts we get it, like he comes to us twice a week and delivers us then the vegetables in the season that he can deliver the vegetables.
Amazing, amazing.
And what we really learned is also to work with fermentation.
Yes.
So basically, when we get the fresh tomatoes or the fresh vegetables, we have to fermentate them so that we can use them in the month where we do not get the fresh products seasonal products from Farmer Peter.
Right.
And so I think like we had, so this makes the dishes more special because you have this fresh season and then you have also the season afterwards where it is like the fermented and eingeweckt.
Yes.
When you put them in jars, what was it called?
Pickling
and I think
fermenting, pickling, all of the preservation. I mean, what that also adds is a whole kind of toolbox of flavors for you guys to work with, right? Mm-hmm. Because you get then all of this different levels.
And of course, it means a lot of work when the vegetables come.
Right.
Because then you have the whole production has to, as soon as they come and they arrive, then they have to be
you have to process them straight away.
So you don't really have the time of, you have to really set it on.
Yes. I'm imagining you guys in this kitchen as like my vision of old Italian nonnas processing tomatoes in the month of August to get the best of that, that kind of idea of spending a whole day canning and fermenting and getting everything else. So tell me a little bit, I mean, I guess with that process of needing to extend the lifespan of all of these different ingredients, does that make it challenging in January to design the menu for Cookies Cream, or how do you guys approach that?
So of course, when you we've had a few years of practice, 15 years, so it's a totally different thing. And if you have the knowledge that we have to really plan it in December, in January, February, we have to plan some parts of the menu. It's not 100% all done by Farmer Peter.
Right.
So we have to plan the special highlights. Yes. Of course, that comes into the process of designing the menu.
Yes. Okay.
But we work very seasonal, so we have like a autumn winter menu, and we have a summer
spring
summer menu, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the time when we really start planning and we still start creating the dishes. But of course, as we work seasonal, we also have to change dishes in the period of summer, because
of course
some things go out of season and some things come back into season.
Of course, that sort of flexibility.
There's a little flexibility of changing.
Absolutely. Having such a long-standing relationship with a farmer, has it made you reflect or change the way that you think about how you support farmers? Do you know what I mean? Like how, as restaurants, we engage with the food system, even just this idea that you said before about realizing that it's not the same as calling a supplier and saying, tomorrow, can I have 20 kilos of of potatoes or whatever it might be.
It's a totally different work. Also, it's all very done by hand.
Right.
It's a small area. It has changed, of course, and of course the pricing is totally different.
Yes.
It is more expensive to buy directly with the farmers because you're supporting them.
Right.
And if you're looking at the pricing, then there's a totally different price scale. And that's the way you have to work with them, because you want to support a farmer to produce the food, and that we have special, amazing ingredients that we can produce.
Right.
And that's the reason why we want to really support a farmer.
And you're building that long-term relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have also Massimo, who organizes the truffles.
Okay.
So we have truffles in winter. He's goes down to Italy and works together with a lot of different farmers together and imports them directly.
Yeah.
Then we work generally with a lot of Berlin producers.
Yes.
So that we work together and have the Berlin culture also in our dishes. No?
Tell me a little bit more about that. Do you guys work with a Berlin-based coffee roaster, or how do you think about these other ingredients besides your besides your vegetables, besides the star of the show, things like your coffee and your wines or anything like that.
Yes. Okay. So the focus in Cookies Cream is, of course, local and seasonable.
Right.
And we work with a lot of different production around Europe.
Yes.
So basically, we only have wines from Europe and Germany.
Yes.
Focus is on Germany, but we have also wines from basically Europe.
Yes.
The other production, our coffee roaster is a Berlin-based coffee roaster, also a big coffee roaster, and Andraschko. And they really check that they really have fair trade beans, fair trade coffee coming to Europe.
Yeah.
And then we work with Berlin small companies that are opening up their own production, like the Berlin Beer Company or fermentation. They do soya sauces and everything.
Okay.
They're based in Berlin.
Amazing.
And drinks, alcohol-free drinks that get produced in Berlin.
So basically building that sort of local economy that radiates out from the restaurant.
Exactly.
You create that community.
But to be honest, the main course of also the quality.
Yes.
So the quality and the taste is really in focus.
Yeah.
That's our focus. So if we really need the taste to be amazing, that we have this amazing experience here.
Yeah.
So that's our main focus, but we wish and try to get as much possible out of our sourcing in the area of Berlin and, of course, Germany.
Yes. Tell me, I mean, with this, you know, you guys have been operating for so long and you were a trailblazer in being a vegetarian restaurant and fine dining restaurant. Have you found, you know, in the early days, was it difficult to convince people that a fine dining meal could be a meal without meat in it? And, you know, how has the perception of the customer changed over time?
So in about basically, well, when I opened up in 2007, Berlin wasn't a place focused on great food.
Yes.
To be honest, it was, you know,
it's a bit like London, where it wasn't a food city.
Yeah, it was focused on DJ, on dancing, but the food was a small part. That changed.
Yeah.
In the year when we opened up in 2007, I think the whole foodie interest came.
Yeah.
A lot of people were really focused on making, you know, having a restaurant, making one dish, but this dish amazingly well. Yeah. And this came in 2009, 10, 11, 12 to Berlin. So this has been changed a lot.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I think people were not coming to us. It was like we had a really tough time. The first 3 years we were empty. Basically, like all my regular guests, you know, who come from the club, who used to go to my other restaurants before, they were very upset that I turned vegetarian.
Oh, wow.
I turned the restaurant to vegetarian. And but after keeping through, making sure the quality, the atmosphere is a great experience. Yeah. I think this is when it changed. And after 10 years working, we managed to get the Michelin star. Yeah. And we never thought we would get a Michelin star because we were vegetarian at the time. It
was unheard of.
It was unheard of. Yeah. If you went to a Michelin star restaurant, you did not get a vegetarian menu at all. It was very difficult. There were very few restaurants. And so we were very, very surprised. And that's also our goal, to keep the Michelin star, to keep this amazing experience here and to be as sustainable as possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to think that, you know, you guys were really at the forefront of something that now there are multiple vegetarian Michelin starred restaurants around Europe, and, you know, but sort of charting that path, and sometimes that takes going against the grain and losing some of your regulars and having to reevaluate and have that conversation to say, actually, no, we can show you an incredible experience. We can show you something that is delicious.
Yeah, of course. So
without deprivation, you know. We're never going to convince people to change their behaviors for sustainability if it doesn't involve deliciousness. And, you know what I mean? People don't do that.
The whole experience. And it's not only the experience on the food, it's also the atmosphere, it's the architecture, it's the design, it's the team. The team is the most important part. The team, how they connect to the guests, how they connect, how they treat you, how they make you have this experience.
Hospitality, right?
Exactly,
it's so important, and so fundamental, and why I know for me that why we're in this business, when we talk about sustainability and we care a lot about these issues, but fundamentally it's about hospitality, because that's how you bring people in. And, you know, by having a beautiful experience is how you have a conversation with people.
You know, Farmer Peter he's like really focused on making the best amazing vegetables that have an amazing taste.
Yeah.
But also he's like focused on not harming any world production.
Yes.
So that's why he's very bio. He's like his whole production is bio.
Yes.
But it's not certificated because
yes.
for such a small farmer, the certification will not work.
It's quite
but
expensive.
As we've been working also 15 years together, you know, his soil and everything has been now bio.
Yes.
Because it's been such a long time.
Yes.
In the process and having the same garden farm.
Yeah. Do you find that it inspires your chefs when they go and see the farm and see that biodiversity?
Well, I think as you soon you're there, and as soon as you work with him, and Peter's so like you are really, yes, you really love it, and you carry on. You know, it gets you on totally in the move. Yeah. And every time when you come back, then you're like, wow, okay, we know what the products are. We know how difficult it is. We had actually chefs also leaving us and then working for him for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So this has been like in the past, yes.
Which is definitely an experience, right? To see how much
and to wake up in the morning so early. It's like a total change from night shift to early shift.
Yeah.
And then to deliver it here by 12.
Yeah.
It's a totally different work.
And I think seeing, you know, getting your hands dirty on a farm and seeing the effort that it takes is so different from unpacking a crate of vegetables or, you know, in some kitchens, vegetables that come wrapped in plastic and things. And
of course, as a Peter farmer would never wrap things in plastic.
It's a very different experience.
All in paper, but it's everything, it's really
yes. You've talked a lot about how he really focused on the quality of the vegetables. And does that involve a process of selecting different varieties, you know, for flavor? Is that what he's doing when you guys sit down and kind of say how he's going to farm for the next year? Is he thinking, I want to try this kind of tomato, or I want to try this variety of beef?
Well, of course, so first of all, it's the basics, basically how much do we need and everything, and then of course he goes into the next step where then he sometimes surprises us. Something, he's like, look, he's done this on the side.
A little experimentation.
And have something. And I think that's his, like, you know, he treats the vegetables as his own children.
Yeah. It's always fun when you see a farmer and how passionate they are about those ingredients and the care that goes into them. Tell me a bit about your team and how do you engage them in the story of both Cookies Cream and of Farmer Pete, of the vegetables? You know, how do you make sure that they are able to pass that story on to the guests when they're dining here?
Okay. I think it's, well, basically you have a team that works longer here. Yeah. Then they get part of it anyway. Yes. We also do 2 times a year visit to Farmer Peter so that they really know how it works and how he's working, and then we can understand his work and processes and help him. Actually, we harvest together. Yeah. I think it's also the mindset from above. If you talk to the team, if you get them on your side and their interest. We have started communicating a lot more. Like, we never really communicated before our values and our interests and our sustainability. Interesting. We've started this a few years ago, and now we've started really focusing also on our website, on our webpage, to talk about sustainability. Yeah. And this is then where you really see that team members that are interested of applying, they're interested because they find the sustainability on our website interesting and they want to work for us. Yeah. And then, of course, we have a lot of vegan and vegetarians wanting to work here because they want to work in the hospitality business, but don't want to serve meat. Yeah, interesting. So you become that sort of self-fulfilling, which I would imagine also fuels then the creativity, because people are coming in and it's how they want to eat and cook anyway. So you kind of get a bit of that. Of course, but creativity, too much creativity, too many creativity can also, too many cooks can challenge. Yeah, exactly. So, that's the you have to be also careful. Yeah, it's like, you know, to create one of these dishes, you need a month. It's not a creation that happens like, oh, let's put this together. No, it's really like a work and thinking what could fit together, what works together, then testing, trying out, and explaining. Of course, everyone is part of this, but it's at the end. It has to really work. Of course. Yeah. But I would imagine that it's changed over time. When you first started, did you have to take your chefs on that same journey that you took your guests on, where, I mean, opening a vegetarian, I bet that most of your chefs in 2007 weren't vegetarians themselves, were they? And you're right. No, correct. No, it was of course, me being a vegetarian saying I want to have a vegetarian thing. And at that time, there wasn't actually that much vegetarian team either. Yeah, of course. It was more, it was taking them on the journey. Yeah. And then really sticking to it. Yeah. You know, I think that was the most hardest part, was like really sticking over the years till really we started working. Yeah. I love it. And I love what you guys are doing.
Any advice for other restaurateurs? You know, we have a large kind of audience of restaurants all over the world that are looking to build a hospitality venue that is better for people, for planet, and in various ways. When it comes to building relationships with your farmer, or when it comes to, you know, shifting your menu to being more creative with vegetables, what are some lessons that you might share with others that you've learned over the 17 years you've been operating?
So I really think you have to have the passion. It's your own passion, and it's, you know, that's it's your heart that really, as an owner, makes the restaurant work. Then it's not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey at all, but it could be. You know, it's a lot easier now because there's a lot more open minds now.
Right.
Trying out, tasting, you know, experimenting, and making sure to find the right dish, and then to continue with a high quality.
That flavor comes first, and you kind of really follow that.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, I can tell that your passion, you know, for what you have created here is really strong, and that's guided you guys for the last 17 years. And I think that seeing that is really powerful for other businesses that are looking to do the same thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.